Hello, welcome to Ambition, a minuet in power. This is Dan, and thank you for joining me. So, last time we went through a whole bunch of stuff, met a whole bunch of people, saw Armand, had a date with him, I guess, and then went to a party and got through a couple of conversations that I think furthered maybe a couple of storylines. Anyways, at this point, we are now getting ready for a cycle of 2 parties back to back, which I think what we're going to do, I think we're going to rest. That way we don't have insane amount of exhaustion before this party. I haven't decided whether I want to go to this party or not. I kind of want to go to the map. And do some more stuff, but we do have more. There is more to do here, so I don't know. Yeah, I haven't quite decided, but I think for here definitely we should rest up before the next party. The next party being the military, so you decide to take the day off and spend some time at home resting and recuperating after spending the day in, taking care of yourself and doing some light reading. See, she likes reading, guys! You finally feel recharged. The exhaustion that had been affecting you before has passed. You no longer have any levels of exhaustion. With that complete, you turn your focus upon other matters that demand your attention. All right. You look up at the sound of Camille knocking on your door frame. Good morning, madame. House's rent is due, as are my wages. Yep, let's pay it. And she'll take the money off and head out. All right, now let's go to this party for the military. We definitely have a gown for that. This one gives 13, 8, 6, and 16. Let us go with this 16. It still has high novelty as opposed to the other one, so let's go with this one, and we shall head out. We'll just head straight for the party. Brush off the notion. All right, we got all this stuff gone. We're at 100% credibility now. Servant checks your invitation. I don't think we'll do anything. We'll just save our 10 livre because we are full on credibility and with 0 peril. She curtsies to you as you pass her by and enter the party. Now let the games begin. All right, here's the judge. Courting disaster. It appears that a judge is most conflicted about a case he's presiding over, as any verdict would have grave political ramifications. Perhaps you could help sway his mind. I don't know that I want that power. Failing to fit in. The wife of a soldier is having trouble consorting with other military spouses at this event, which is their loss, as she seems to know some very interesting things. Okay, this is a possibility here. Pulling rank, just as you're about to seize upon some valuable gossip, you're interrupted by a presumptuous interloper. Perhaps there's a way to evade his rude questions and claim your prize in time. It's only cheap gossip, so I'm not really caring too much about that. Scouting ahead, the daughter of a retired colonel would like to speak with a particular young man, but propriety prevents her from doing so. However, you've bucked such conventions in the past and may be able to help. Ooh, shocking and outrageous gossip. What was the gossip she has here? Cheap, shocking, and outrageous. Ooh, I mean, they're both pretty good. Let's see, this one has a sway of -10 to 5 credibility. And this one has a sway of -10 to 0. And this has 0 of 15 peril. Oh, shoot, I just picked it. Alright, let's be careful, guys. Bonjour, Madame Decaux, says a younger woman as she approaches you. You are, in fact, Yvette Decaux, no? I have a problem, you see, she says, opening her fan and talking from behind it. My father brought me here, and there's a gentleman over there who I'd greatly like to speak with. However, my father is a retired colonel, and there are certain expectations of us. I can't be seen approaching some gentleman that I don't know. I'm told that you seem to know everyone in Paris, and that you have no fear of accusations of impropriety. Can you help me? If that truly is your reputation now, then perhaps you really have established yourself in Paris. Yes, yes, that is certainly the case. If her father is a retired colonel, there's an opportunity to acquire military gossip. So, let's see. I think I'm just going to go straight for the challenge and try to get, like, it's a medium credibility challenge. I think, generally, at this point, this is going to be how I'm going to get what I want. Adding peril doesn't seem to be the right way to go. I wonder if maybe if you hire the bodyguard, if you can just straight go for peril every time. But certainly at this point, I'm just going to go with straight credibility. I have a reputation to protect as well. Please tell me about your family so I can decide.
Huh.
Oh, you want to know more about my family? I suppose that does make sense. She happily agrees. I think you'll find us quite reputable. The conversation that follows is brief and easily steered in the directions that you wish. On the surface, your questions appear to be about her family, but they're also allowing you to piece together elements of an incomplete rumor that you'd heard about earlier. You've gained a piece of shocking military gossip.
Ooh.
With your objective secured, you take her gently by the hand and lead her over to the object of her affections. Your introduction is swift and simple, but more than enough to do the job. It doesn't take long before the two of them are chatting happily, but within the stringent rules of propriety. With your end of the bargain accomplished, you decide to leave. All in all, this appears to have been a success. Very good, very good. Oh, here we go. Cornering correspondence. I think... Wait. This looks like Yvette. I don't know why it's like this. But I'm very intrigued. You take some time to go over distant memories of the letters Armand used to send you while you were still in the village. In retrospect, some of those missives may have been more concerning than you thought. Oh. I think this might further a storyline, so we'll pick this one to go. You step away from the crowds at the party to take a moment to be alone. A memory you had not considered for a while flashes through your mind. You're back in your provincial hometown. It was after Armand had left for the Estates General, but you yourself had yet to leave for Paris. Instead, you walked around in the cold, reading his letter over and over again. This particular one had been puzzling you for a while. In retrospect, his letters had been growing stranger for quite some time, but it's easier to notice such warning signs long after the point where they would have been useful. Dwelling on such failures has never helped anyone. Chère Yvette, my heart aches to see you with an ever-growing ardor that I'm scarcely able to control. I may be surrounded by companions here, but without you I feel alone. Whenever I find myself engaging with persons other than my sponsors, I find myself exasperated. So many powerful people calmly discussing the state of the nation as if it were a tennis match, as though there are only two possible victors, yet the outcome had no real meaning. Individuals like that cannot be allowed to steer the fate of our people. If we are presented with two bad options, then we must force a third. To put it simply, it feels like France is a ship hurtling towards a rocky shore, and nobody is at the wheel. This awareness of imminent catastrophe is the main unifying thread that binds our little group together. Our leader is the only one who isn't worried. She works feverishly, but betrays no sign of fear. I think you would like her immensely. You two share a lot in common. Oh, is this Johanna? Is she the leader? He's talking about a she, and that they both share a lot alike. Our leader? You had puzzled this over before. Who was this woman that Armand was referencing in his letter? Was this perhaps that Johanna person you've met recently? Of course, in the name of building coalitions, I've had to partake in the company of several extremely unpleasant individuals. It's perhaps the only reason I'm glad you're not here, as I would hate to inflict their judgmental presence upon you. Even when I finally travel home from the interminable dinners at their grand estates, I still feel like I'm being watched. I know I've said it before, but I really wish you were here. I know there are things I'm not seeing, things you would notice instantly. All I can be certain of is that we're racing against this unseen clock. To put it simply, the people of France are hungry, and hungry people do not remain hungry for long. Je t'embrasse, Armand. Reconsidering these memories in a new light is unpleasant, but also grounding. you feel a little more prepared for whatever comes next. Lost peril gained credibility. Still, what to make of these revelations? I trust Armand, and I trust that something good can still come of this. The more I think about this, the worse it all gets. I'm in a den of vipers. It's easy to jump to conclusions, but I simply don't know enough right now. Yeah, we don't know enough. We don't know anything about Johanna, whether she is the leader, and what exactly the big deal is. I mean, he's trying to jockey for a new power, and of course that's going to garner some enemies, a lot of enemies, especially from the established order, so that's most likely the case, but we haven't heard it direct from anybody. With that ambivalent assessment, you decide to engage with the world around you once more. The memory drifts away like the waning moments of a dream. Hopefully you can accomplish something at this party before the night is over. Well, the night's over. We got a bit of gossip, we maxed everything out. All right. May 18th. We're going into the next party right off the bat. Birthday party. For Duchess Suzanne Mézières. So let's go to the party. This is for the bourgeoisie. Do we have anything for that? This is a +3. So we only have this one. So, because we are exhausted, we're going to lose 2 credibility. But, I think overall, that's still a fair trade, so we'll go ahead with it. And we'll head straight for the party. Alright. So, do I want to... No, I don't think I'll pay 10 livres. We're at 98 credibility, so I think we're good to go. And we'll just head right into it. Ooh, look! Honorade! Madame Gazelle is considering the position of the bourgeoisie and how it relates to the crown and the revolution. This feels like a prime opportunity to exert some influence upon their decisions. Let's see who else is here. Outlandish rumors. A pair of women seem to have quite a bit to say to each other, but aren't doing so. Oh, I think we've come across this before. This one... Oh, this one's got, what's his name? Christoph? Monsieur von Meyendorff, who you've spoken with earlier, appears to be having quite the disagreement with one of his supplies. It's considered rather gauche to air such grievances in public, so this must be serious indeed. Yeah, but it doesn't look like we have anything that happens with him specifically. And then loose lips. A guest has apparently been entrusted with valuable knowledge only to make the mistake of getting extremely drunk afterwards. Very nice. The single chambermaid has been told to watch over him, but you've never been one to let a petty obstacle get in your way. Let's go with Honorade. We're gonna go with this. Alright. Due to the flow of the party and the vagaries of guests wandering to and fro, you find yourself having a conversation alone with Madame Gazelle. Not that either of you mind, of course. What irritates me so is that for all their complaints about the aristocracy, there are more than enough powerful members of the bourgeoisie who clearly just want to become the new nobility. They play at revolutionary talk and preach about fairness, but they're not really opposed to the idea of the ancien regime, merely who's running it. As if titles bought with money were more virtuous than ones bought with blood. She sighs and takes a sip of her water. Now, I must admit that most aristocrats I've spoken to are tiresome boors that could get some kind of carnal thrill from reminding you of their privileged station. I've met some wonderful counterexamples, but it feels like a case of exceptions that prove the rule. Regardless, I'm not even certain who I should be making entreaties to. All of Paris is picking sides, and it would be nice to reach out to someone who we already had a good relationship with. Whoever she reaches out to will surely gain from her support, but she might react poorly to suggesting someone that has a poor relationship with the bourgeoisie at the moment. Madame Gazelle swirls her water thoughtfully. So, we can either ask her to favor the crown or favor the revolution. If you want friends, it seems like the crown already favors you, or Isn't the bourgeoisie already sympathetic to the revolution? That might work. I think we go with this. I mean, like it says, they're already sympathetic to the revolution, so why not?
Huh.
The revolution, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you're absolutely right. The revolution and the bourgeoisie do seem to be getting along quite well at the moment, despite some of my more irritating peers' best efforts. You've gained a little favor with her. Given the direction everything is heading, I should stop positioning myself sooner rather than later. Some of my peers being insufferable isn't a reason to make a poor political decision. The bourgeoisie has moved towards the revolution a little. You chat with Honorade a touch longer until she excuses herself to begin one of the very meetings she's mentioned. And so, another piece on the grand chessboard of Paris. The only question is anyone moving you around the board? Alright, so let's see what we've got. This one is the two that we're talking and have gossip. This one, a commercial intrigue, a rather run-of-the-mill interaction with a lone bourgeoisie man at a party. You find yourself having many like it in the future. It's only got cheap gossip. And this was the one with Christophe. Chance at shocking and outrageous bourgeoisie gossip. And this one has outrageous crown gossip. Let's go with the outrageous man. While taking a turn of the house, you spot that judge who you ran into before. Of course, it's not hard to spot him. He's wearing his judiciary robes to a social event. Yet again. Still, he might be useful, so you approach him regardless. Ah, bonsoir, madame, he says, seemingly oblivious to the fact that you've actually met before. It appears that he suffers from a form of nearsightedness endemic to men in positions of power. I think it's more something else endemic to men of power, the fact that they don't care about people that they think is below them. He can't focus on anything further away than himself. The trial I've been presiding over has been vexing indeed. Perhaps you've heard the details? I'd love to know more, in fact. I think he's going to cut us off, considering that each one of these responses is pretty much cut off, so he's just going to continue to go. Indeed, he chuckles to himself. It appears that one of His Majesty's own ministers stands accused of murder. He claims that he was defending himself, but the very man he killed was one of his most outspoken critics. Needless to say, His Majesty is quite concerned for the results of this case. This minister, who is being held in the Grand Châtelet as we speak, was strolling about alone at night, far from his home in the city. In fact, he was quite near the very home where his erstwhile rival was staying for the Estates General. He claims that his critic attacked him without provocation, and cites his right to self-defense. However, several witnesses claim that this bout of violence was preceded by a furious argument between the two. It certainly muddies things, especially if one can infer the minister went to that area with the intent of causing an altercation. In that case, self-defense would not apply. In nearly every other similar case you've heard of, a nobleman's word would nearly be enough for him to be declared innocent, but you note that the judge's countenance truly is marred by indecision. You could alter his thinking, or you could simply abscond with some truly valuable gossip. It's most puzzling indeed. So, it doesn't seem like we're... Because we can do a credibility challenge, and that's saying, skulking to his rivals at home at night. Surely the minister intended violence from the start? And the peril goes, wouldn't there be consequences for slighting His Majesty by ruling against his minister? And then such complex affairs are truly beyond me, and it seems that I must go. So, I think if we want to just grab the gossip, we can just leave here, and then if we want to influence him, we could go with one of these other things. But I don't know that I want to. I kind of don't care, honestly. I mean, it's his job to figure that out. So quickly you introduce yourself, but you leave with barely a word. You must be bereft of manners entirely entirely to be unable to listen for but a moment, huffs the man who normally has armed guards to make sure that people listen to him. Wow, he took a lot of credibility there. However, the fact that you managed to skulk away early means that you're disentangled enough from this affair to make use of this truly valuable gossip. Gained a piece of outrageous crown gossip. Perhaps there's something else you can accomplish here before the end of the night? No, I think that was it. That was the second one, right? Yep. So we've got cheap bourgeoisie gossip, outrageous crown gossip. Alright, we lost 12 credibility, man. Alright, and May 19th. Alright, I think what we're going to do is we're going to do one more party, because it's right here. There's not much left going on. This is Feast of St. Aaron. So let's go ahead and accept. And what we will do, we are at 2 exhaustion, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to rest for the day. Alright. And we'll just skip through all this. It's all the same. And here we are, the day of the party. So we've got a church party. So I know we've got something here. Wait, not that one. Church 3. Alright, we should go out and buy something for a dress for the church. But this will do overall. So let's go with it. Alright, and we'll just head straight for the party. Alright, and our credibility went up just a little bit. We'll spend 10 livres to enhance it just a little bit more in case we go into in a situation where we have to use our credibility. So this one, forgiveness is divine. Jilted gentleman. Okay, this we've come across before. This one, holier than thou. Your presence hasn't gone unnoticed by those who consider themselves extremely pious. For some unbelievable reason, they doubt the honesty of your intentions here. Might be an ideal chance to turn such attacks around on them. That was very cheap rewards. This one's the stealing one. And this one, holy intrigue. A rather run-of-the-mill interaction with a pious woman at a party. You might find yourself having many like it in the future. So this is also cheap gossip. Looks like everything is kind of just cheap gossip. Oh, here we go. Shocking and outrageous. This one's all cheap. Alright, so we'll do this one. The forgiveness is divine. I'll read the description one more time. A jilted gentleman has sought out your company, and he has quite the grudge to settle. However, firmly held grudges often lead to loose tongues. And let's see where we go with this one. Between clusters at this party, you notice an older, distinguished gentleman. He's standing by himself, but swaying quite a bit, which is very good. After all, a drunkard and their secrets are easily parted. You immediately head over. Ah, bonjour, Madame Ducot. I am glad to be in your infamous presence. In fact, it is most fitting that you are here with me. After all, you and I are not so different. We are both innocent people who have been spurned for reasons that we do not control. He slurs between sips of his wine. Lowering his voice to a stage whisper, he confides to you. Also, between you and I've always thought Marcel was a spiteful and gaudy woman. Damn it all, where was I? Ah yes, my family has always been a loyal and Catholic one. In fact, my great-grandfather fought beside His Eminence Cardinal Richelieu at La Rochelle. When my wife fell terribly ill last year, I donated much of our fortune so that the priests may pray for her health. Yet despite my generosity and their prayers, she died all the same. It was some consolation to find out that our community's donations would be used to fund the construction of a new chapel a few blocks from here. Then, yesterday, I went to that very chapel and found my wife's name to be absent from the list of dedications. I've lobbied the bishop repeatedly about this injustice, but he claims to be too busy at the moment and has no time. It is an outrage of the worst sort. Which is why I'm here, drunk, and concocting a way to correct this dishonor. Alright, and we've got an easy credibility challenge. If you wish to feel better, telling me about their failings might bring you comfort. Yeah, I think this is the way to go. Their failings, you say? Something like rumors, you say? He asks aloud, rubbing his chin thoughtfully. That's a fantastic idea. In fact, I know just the thing, he continues in a low voice. You've gained a piece of shocking church gossip. The conversation continues a while longer, and you attempt to ply him with more wine, but it doesn't feel like you'll get anything beyond what you've just learned. Your conversation slowly loses energy, and the both of you go your separate ways. The widower stumbles away from you, his path winding back and forth like a lazy river. You search around the rest of the party to see if there's anyone else you can talk to before the event finishes up. Alright, well, that was interesting. Swords and crosses. Two men have sequestered themselves in a chapel to discuss a set of rumors so dire that they fear to speak them aloud. While together they are resolute, they may prove easy to tempt when separated. So, more shocking and outrageous gossip up for grabs. There's also a chance at favor from Ludovico. Holier than thou. Seen that. I don't know that it's worth it. Lost coin. This is stealing coin from the chambermaid, I'm guessing. And holy intrigue, also just cheap gossip. So let's go with this one that has the chance for decent gossip and favor with Ludovico. Alright, pick this conversation. This is the last one for the night. You notice two men sequestered off to the side in a chapel, speaking in low tones, speaking in low tones while their eyes glance furtively about. The sight alone is enough to draw you towards it, like a devout pilgrim towards a holy place. Indeed, I've heard some rather fascinating things amongst the priests that I know, but even now I fear that the wrong person might overhear it. We're two of a kind, then. Some of my friends have remained in the military, and they have a lot to say about the sorry state of affairs there. I can barely keep things to myself, but the risks are too great. I'm simply too close to the story, and the consequences for indiscretion could be dire indeed. I suppose we have nothing to discuss, then. Even at this distance, you can see these men are so overflowing with desire to spill their respective secrets that it would be a trivial task to get them to speak. However, if they're to be believed, you'll certainly anger the members of whatever group that you take their gossip from. They're starting to walk away from each other. Who should you follow? I think we want rumors connected to the church, maybe. Let's grab the church gossip. As they part ways, you follow the older man at a distance. You catch up to him in a different part of the party, far from his erstwhile companion. Ah, bonjour, madame, he says with a polite bow of his head. How may I help you? Your efforts to pry the secrets from this man are so easy that you almost have to stop yourself from laughing. You have what you want from him in short order. You gained a piece of shocking church gossip. Of course, there are obvious consequences for dealing with a man who clearly can't keep a secret. It won't be long before everyone in the church knows that you sought out rumors about them. Ah, lost favor from Ludovico. But we've never met him, so whatever. The conversation that follows afterwards is decent, if nothing else. This is especially good because you'll have to keep talking with him for some time. This dance is a particular rhythm, and one can't leave too early, lest they risk arousing even further suspicion. However, the moment you spot a polite opening in the conversation, you manage to break away. All things considered, that certainly feels like a success. Alright, we got cheap church gossip, shocking church gossip, and more shocking church gossip. We gained 6 credibility, lost 10 livre, and lost favor with Ludovico, whom we've never met. Alright, we've gone through 3 parties, all of which were quite a thing. But for now, I think what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this video up. We're going next time to be doing more things on the calendar. We have not anything for quite a while, but first off, I think what we'll do in the next video is to sell as much gossip as we can, and yeah, maybe continue on Armand's storyline, perhaps. I mean, there is an existing thing there that is waiting for us to hold on to and really just explore. So I hope you guys will come back and join me as we venture forth into the possibility of getting killed and destroyed and having our heads chopped off and stuff like that, because, French Revolution. I hope to see you there, and until then, bye.